Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be talking about my top favorite niche houses, top 3, so stay tuned for that. If you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. Now, this list was actually a little bit challenging to put together. I knew who was going to be on the top of the list, and actually, before I get into the list, I do want to give a shout out to Chris from Casual Fragrances. He did sort of do this video, and then I said it was such a great idea, and he, of course, was happy to see me make my own version of it. So if you haven't checked out Casual Fragrances, do check out his channel. He's got a lot of great content, giveaways, things like that. But anyways, as I was saying, this video was a little bit tricky to make. I knew who was going to be in the top spot just because it's the brand that I have the most fragrances of. But there was definitely a little bit of debate on, for me, what would be third and even second spot. And I did try to ignore who I have the most bottles from, but the one that is in top place I do have the most bottles for. But the honorable mention, and which almost made third space, is Nishane. Really like their fragrances. They have a lot of really good ones. Oolong Cha is probably the best tea fragrance that I've ever smelt. They've got Sultan Vetiver, which is a really fantastic, really amazing vetiver fragrance. Very complex, a lot going on. And if you really love vetiver, that one is really good. Of course, Fan Your Flames, and they have a lot of other good ones to check out. So I do really like that house. I did think about Roja. I have a couple Rojas. I like Fetish. The Parfum Cologne line is very, very well put together. They have a lot of offerings as well. So I do like Roja, but alas, they are just honorable mentions because the third spot ended up beating both of those, and for various reasons. Now, the third spot goes to Xerjoff. So Xerjoff is one of these houses that is a little bit tricky in the sense that they have a lot of different fragrances, and so finding out what suits your taste and what you really like can be a little bit tricky without sitting down and doing some serious sampling. I think they edged out the competition for two reasons. Now, they do have some other good fragrances. If I were to buy a third bottle, I have two Xerjoff. It would probably be something like Neo, which is one of the best summer fragrances available, in my opinion. Beautiful bitter grapefruit, green, fresh, uplifting fragrance. Well done. Other fragrances like Ivory Root, really, really nice. So they do have a lot of other good ones. But one thing that really secured the spot, Italica. I am the proud owner of this one, and this is one of the best, if not the best, gourmand fragrances of all time. So good. I mean, it's just this very nice milky almond. Reminds me of like a biscuit or something like that at times too, because it does have this dry almond vibe with this nice, beautiful, creamy, milky vibe as well. Very sweet, amazing performance. The sillage is great. The bottle is lovely with this sort of crushed velvet. I was lucky to get this when they had it on the store, on the online thing. It is otherwise an exclusive to Harvey Nichols, which is in the UK, so very hard to get. This is one of the only fragrances in my collection that I have paid full retail for, and to me this one is actually worth full retail. But in either case, in either way, I do really enjoy this one, and it is one of the reasons why it made the fourth slot. As I mentioned, they do have a lot of other great fragrances. And the other thing, Naxos, absolutely amazing, beautiful honey tobacco. Just luxurious, a pleasure to wear, a pleasure to smell. This is one of those fragrances that, when I actually first smelt it, I just sat back and took it all in and really, really enjoyed it. And it really had that wow factor that, that little bit of a love buzz you get when you get that love at first sniff fragrance. That definitely had it. I'm going to be cracking this one out a little bit more in the winter because it is a gorgeous fragrance, and I'm really committed to trying to use the fragrances that I have. So that is the third spot, and that goes to Xerjoff. Fantastic house. A lot of really great presentations. Like I said, I love this bottle shape, this bottle design that they do have. But like I said, the one caveat or warning or whatever of the house is they have a lot of fragrances. So finding the good ones, the ones that really resonate with you, can be a challenge. The next one is actually maybe no surprise, and that is Parfums de Marly. They get a lot of flack from people. A lot of people love the brand. A lot of people, do refer to them as like a clone house, or they get all kinds of flack. I love them for two reasons. One, the bottle presentation, very gorgeous. I do like this sort of horse emblem and the big heavy bottles with these beautiful caps, very heavy caps. They also have a lot of really easy to wear fragrances that I enjoy. And it's funny because a lot of people like Parfums de Marly for their heavier fragrances like Oajan, which I love. You know, it's a honey cinnamon fragrance that smells really, really good. I'm actually almost out of this one. And it's funny because I always said, you know, this is my first niche fragrance I ever bought, and if I run out, I'll probably buy another one. I probably won't, actually, just mostly, I might, mostly because I have other kind of apple pie fragrances. Not that this isn't good, but because I really want to try and be more practical and use the fragrances I have. But, man, this is really, really good. But anyways, most people love the, Oajan, Carlisle, Herod, and I do like those fragrances, but one of the things that I really like about them is their fresh fragrances. And they do get some talk, but I like them because they're super easy to wear. They're nice, casual, or dressed up fragrances. Like, Galloway, I like this one because it is just this really clean, citrusy, musky, peppery fragrance. I think it's really nice to wear to the office. It's classy and easy and clean smelling. Lasts a really long time. They have great performance. And, it just smells really good. Another one being Sedley. So I love the 2019 formulation. I think that's when it came out. Is not so good because it performs very poorly. This one will probably take me forever to use, mostly because the performance is ridiculous. I'll do 2 sprays of this. And, last time I wore it, I did 2 sprays of this. I drove into downtown, met someone for some drinks. I came back, I don't know, maybe 3 hours later. I was still getting heavy sillage on my drive home with this fragrance. And that's pretty crazy because a lot of times I go nose blind to a fragrance. I don't really get as much sillage off of it. And especially a fresh fragrance like this one. And it's very fizzy, effervescent, light, enjoyable. I really, really love that about this fragrance. And it does have a masculine, woody dry down. So, yes, it's not like super groundbreaking. And I guess that could be the criticism with the house, is that they don't have tons of really groundbreaking or revolutionary fragrances. But they do have a lot of really enjoyable and easy to wear fragrances. And I also like how you can get them on the gray market. So you can get this, I think I paid $130 US for this. And let's be honest, that's basically retail designer range. You're going to pay around that for a bottle of Chanel. And this is 125 milliliters and will last you a really long time if you don't decant it. This one is really good. I love this one. Maybe I will buy it again. We'll see. But anyways, I love that about it. So you can get good prices on these fragrances, and they do perform well. They do smell good. There's a lot of mass appealing, easy to wear fragrances, easy reach fragrances. So I do like that about the brand, and that is my number 2 slot. Now, the last slot, or the first place, probably is no surprise, and that goes to Kilian. So it's interesting because this brand took me a while to really get into, but one of the things that kept drawing my attention to the brand was the aesthetic. And I love the bottles. I love this sort of gunmetal plaque. I love the sort of design they have on the side, the caps, everything about the presentation of the bottle. I love how they're refillable too. So I do really, really enjoy this brand. I love the aesthetic, and that's what drew me into it at first. And I know Big Beard Business was hyping up Black Phantom. It's the first one I ended up getting my nose on, and of course, absolutely fell in love with it on first sniff. I do love Gourmands, and it is a really, really well done fragrance. So I do... that's really what got me into the brand. I started exploring it more, Straight to Heaven, Straight to Heaven Extreme, and so on and so forth. I do have the most of them, so I have 5 of them. The first one, as I mentioned, was Black Phantom. The second one that I got, I believe it was the second one that I got, was actually Straight to Heaven Extreme. Now this one I did also pay full retail for because it is very hard to find on a discount or on the gray market because it was a limited release, and so it's been discontinued. But to me, I really like this one. It has amped up booziness, amped up vanilla over the original. Now, I also like the original. In fact, I might even buy it. The one thing that I would say about the original versus this one, I find it to be woodier. And where I also found it to lack in performance, this one doesn't. But I will say, I had a decant of the original and I let it sit for a few months. As it sat there and matured, it actually started performing better. And I did get around 8 hours of it the last time I used up the end of my decant. So I think even the original is good. If you do really love the fragrance, you can own both because there are a lot of different facets to it. The original, not as boozy. It's a lot more woody. The woodiness comes out more in the dry down. This one is much boozier. A little bit sweet with that dried fruits. And also the vanilla amped up. But also a really good one. The next one that I bought from them is Moonlight in Heaven. Now, there are some really good inspirations of this one. And I have mentioned the genre one before, but I really wanted to get the blue bottle. I love the blue bottle, and this was on sale at, I believe it was Neiman Marcus, and it was a very good price, so I decided to get it. I do really like this one. Very beautiful mango, mixed in with a nice rice and a bit of a floral component, but this is a really nice tropical fragrance. And in fact, I think I'm going to wear this one even now because it's not super cold, and this one is... It isn't like super fresh, even though it is in the fresher category. It's not like a really freshy. There is some sweetness there. You know, there's that coconut, there's rice, there's that mango, and it's really nicely put together. So of course, as I mentioned, I am trying to get a little bit more wear out of the bottles that I have, and I think this one is going to be one I'm going to be putting on soon. Now the next one I got, actually, Musk Oud. This is one that's not really talked about, and this one's by Alberto Moreales. Probably said that wrong. And the one thing I'll say about this is, to me, this is probably one of his best fragrances of all time. I know he did Acqua di Gio, and that's the best-selling fragrance pretty much of all time. But, and don't get me wrong, I love Acqua di Gio, but this is just such a masterfully crafted, luxurious fragrance, very opulent, something that's very suitable for high-class occasions, and it's just so polished and well put together that I think in that sense, as the overall quality of the fragrance, I think this one is much better, and it is his most masterfully blended fragrance that he's done, in my personal opinion, out of the ones that I've smelled, I should say. But it's really nice, not talked about as much, very musky, a little bit of rose undertones. I don't get a lot of the oud in this one, but it is really good. And like I said, if you like a musky, little bit woody, a little bit rosy fragrance, that smells very luxurious, very classy. It's a good one to check out. And nobody really talks about this one, so it is good to try it and see if you like it. And it is one of the two, so they did have a lot of oud fragrances, and they got cut. Almost all of them got cut. This one made it along with Pearl Oud, which, if I bought another bottle from Kilian, that might actually be one of the ones that I would buy. You know, I love single malt, but I also really enjoyed Pearl Oud, which I tried recently. Very enjoyable fragrance as well. Nice, very woody, a little bit of spice in there. Very nice, well done, powerful oud fragrance that doesn't smell musky or musty or barnyardy or animalic or anything. Just very well put together. So there's a lot from the house, and I should say they have gourmands, they have boozy fragrances, they have fresher fragrances. A lot of people like vodka on the rocks. They have floral fragrances. They have everything really, and that's one of the things that's nice is they have a selection of a lot of fragrances that a lot of people can like. Now, the latest one I bought, Angel Share. Also really well done. Doesn't really smell exactly like it, but it is similar to Wajan with that sort of cinnamon, apple pie kind of a vibe. One of the reasons I might not buy it is because I still have this to get through. And it does have a very similar cinnamon note, but much boozier. I think there's a little bit more going on with this one. I mostly get a very luxurious, honey cinnamon vibe, whereas this, I get a lot more going on, and it is really nice, but I like them both quite a bit. And they are definitely both different enough that if you like them both, you can easily own them both, but I do like this one, but I would compare it to things like Wajan, Amber, Narguile, those types of fragrances. So, you know what, it's not super original, but it is really well done, and of course the presentation stepped up as always. That's one thing I've come to expect from the house. You have this beautiful, looks exactly like a whiskey glass or something like that. Looks very beautiful, very luxurious, and I do like that a lot. So anyways, that is my top 3 niche houses with those 2 honorable mentions. Leave a comment down below. What are your favorite niche houses? What do you own the most niche fragrances from? Let me know, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.